Hey guys, what's going on today? Today we're going to be going over all of the, what I think are the best settings for Modern Warfare. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. We're going to go ahead and get started with our first tab of settings, and this is under the controller tab. So the button layout is completely up to you. There's so many to choose from, and just to let y'all know, I definitely play on keyboard and mouse, so I don't really worry about too much of this. The stick layout, completely up to you. Invert vertical look. I wouldn't recommend this at all, unless airplanes only is fine, but definitely just don't put it on enabled. Your sensitivity is completely your preference. Now let's go down. This is your preference as well. So let's go to your aim response curve type. And you're going to want to set this to dynamic because this gives you a lot more control than the regular standard. And then the controller vibration, you're going to want to put this on disabled to help you with aiming. This is pretty common. Aim assist, you want to put this on precision because this also gives you most control over it, and that's better for accurate players, like it says just right here. And so you may have some issues at first, but you'll definitely grow into it. Now for everything else, ADS plus melee enabled, hold, tap to reload, and enabled, sorry. Then the slide behavior, put it on tap. And then all of this you're going to have disabled except for vehicle camera recenter. And the reason for these two to be disabled is so you have more control over your movement, so you don't start sprinting when you're not ready for it and all that kind of thing. Alright, so now we're going to go over the second part, and this is the keyboard and mouse section. Mouse sensitivity is completely up to you. Now for the aim down sight, ADS mouse sensitivity, I leave this on relative because when it's on legacy, it kind of changes like it changes your sins when you aim down sight, and I just personally I don't like that, so I'd recommend leaving it on relative. Mouse acceleration you want on 0, mouse filtering you definitely want on 0, and then mouse smoothing you want to leave on disabled. Alright, now we're going to go over the movements tab. And on this, on the slide behavior, I have it on tap just because I don't like to hold. I dislike holding any button down that I need to. So that's why crouch is on toggle and so is prone. And then automatic airborne mantle I have on disabled, and then sprint/tactical sprint behaviors on toggle and so is automatic sprint. That's on disabled. I have all of this because this allows you to have a lot more control over your character, and it doesn't start sprinting when you're not ready for it or mantling or any of that. Alright, now we're going to go over the movements tab. And on this, on the slide behavior, I have it on tap just because I don't like to hold. I dislike holding any button down that I need to. So that's why crouch is on toggle and so is prone. And then automatic airborne mantle I have on disabled, and then sprint/tactical sprint behaviors on toggle and so is automatic sprint. That's on disabled. I have all of this because this allows you to have a lot more control over your character, and it doesn't start sprinting when you're not ready for it or mantling or any of that. Alright, for the weapons and equipment, the only two things I changed were the depleted ammo weapon switch. I put that to disabled, so when you shoot your weapon out, it will automatically, when it's enabled, it'll automatically switch to your other weapon that has ammo. And sometimes this kind of messed me up because I try to switch to it while it's switching and it puts me right back to where I was with that empty gun. So I went ahead and set that to disabled, so I have to switch manually, just again getting more control. And then equipment behavior, so I don't really like holding down a button at all like I had explained earlier. So this way I just click it, select it, and then I can throw it like you'd shoot a gun. Okay, now we're in the general tab, and here the first thing you'll see is field of view. And so when you go to the field of view, this is all kind of going to depend on your monitor resolution. I think for a better resolution you can definitely handle a higher field of view just because there's less detail the more zoomed out you go, or it's just harder to see things because they're smaller obviously. So I would just make sure to stay whatever's comfortable for you over 100. And then for ADS field of view, you're going to leave that on independent because affected it's just goofy. Brightness is completely dependent on your setup. However, this game can stand to be a little bit brighter than most of the other ones. Alright, so now we're going to be going over the graphics tab. And on this, for display mode, it really depends on you, but I leave mine on full screen for the most performance. For display adapter, you just want to put on your graphics card, of course. It's probably defaulted there anyways. Okay, screen refresh rate. You want to make sure this is as high as it can go. As high as it can go. Render resolution, you definitely want to have this full. If your computer can't handle it, turn it down a little bit. And if you have some monster, sure, go ahead and turn it up, even though I wouldn't recommend it. So I just leave it to your native resolution, leave it at 100. And for advanced, just go ahead and put your native resolution. My monitor is a little different, but just put it on the best one you can get. Unless, of course, you're having some, frame issues, then you can adjust that accordingly. The aspect ratio, I leave mine on automatic. Sync every frame, I have that disabled because I have a G-Sync monitor, so I don't need this enabled. Custom frame limit, I leave that on unlimited, just so I, never get capped on frames. NVIDIA highlights, I don't use them, so I turn them off because I go ahead and record everything myself. So the restart shaders installation, you can't really do much with this unless you're having some issues, then I would recommend using it. Okay, the display gamma. So the sRGB, the 2.2 is usually used for a monitor, and the BT1886 is for a TV. So this is obviously depending on what you're playing on, but I play on a monitor, so 2.2. Texture resolution, I have it very low. I know it doesn't look good, but more for FPS. Again, more FPS. Particle quality doesn't affect your FPS much, nor does these last three, particle quality, bullet impacts, and tessellation. All three don't affect your FPS much, so I go and turn those all the way up. This does, so I turn it down. Cache spot shadows, that's why it's not stored in cache. I go ahead and turn it down. Everything else is turned off. Particle lighting I have up a little bit because I think it looks a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. But you can go ahead and turn that to low. Okay, so now here's the important stuff. Anti-aliasing. I genuinely cannot play with anti-aliasing off. I think it looks just hideous. So, and the other three I just don't like using because they take away a few too many FPS. So I put it on SMA 1X. And I leave the depth of field enabled and the filmic streak at 1. And then of course both motion blurs are turned off because these are just not what you want in a competitive game at all. Now for the film grain, I go ahead and turn that all the way down so you don't get this weird, I don't like it at all, this noise all and everything. And it makes it look a little bit more cartoony, as you can see right there. Kind of looks, a little bit drawn in, but that's fine. Well, I hope some of these settings helped you out and they can help improve your game experience a little bit. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this.